I left with my parents and sister in 1962. Things were not good in Cuba at the time. My father had been arrested a few times. We had to leave. And it came when I was a teenager, 13. And of course, in Cuba, I saw a lot of Westerns. It was part of the diet of a lot of Cubans. And John Wayne was a big hero for me. So the landscape in those Westerns was grand and wonderful, and that's all I knew of it. When I began to actually photograph in these parks, what struck me about my interest was not the grand views, but the smaller particular things. The ground itself being so refreshing and new. My first time doing it was remarkable. I could not believe that this stupid dirt could be such a transformation. This combination of image and ground. It also felt like painting, which is my hidden agenda. I do want to be a painter, and this is a way to really begin to kind of mediate photography into some surface. When you're inside a camera obscura, you really are literally inside a camera. So all the qualities that a camera brings to art and to making pictures, you're inside of it, seeing focal length, seeing upside downness, sharpness, all the qualities that make a photograph and a camera are embedded in this experience. So it's a record of life in front of you. And that has really interesting connotations too, that you could be hiding somewhere, not quite a peeping Tom, but a way to look at nature indirectly and see in a picture how sometimes that's even more interesting than looking at the real thing. I know that's a sacrilege for me to say to National Park devotees, but seeing an image of it through an indirect way feels very exciting to me, because it's a discovery. It's suddenly that Ansel Adams mountain is yours, is not his. You in some ways take ownership of looking at it again. But it's such a beautiful world of the microcosmos. It's gorgeous, and it's in some ways what the ground pictures are about, having the stuff strewn below you, make that count as well. And that's sort of the meaning of my pictures, the grand, the microcosmos and the macrocosmos, maybe it's together. I think Adams felt that way. He's got a lot of pictures where he has an extreme depth of field, where he has pebbles on the bottom and then mountains back there. It's an attempt to make the dialectics of large and small be one, almost a religious idea. And it's also interesting for me to do the most, not cliche, but they're well-known monuments, these parks. Everyone knows them, and there are a billion pictures of them. But to find a way to recreate that image in a way that feels fresh, and maybe for the first time, and that's really exciting to me, just a reworking of this cliche. I mean, there was Watkins and Ansel Adams. So those are, in some ways, the property of those two guys. Although, when you think about it, no one stopped you at the gates saying, sorry, Adams did this already. So it depends on your ambition. If you think it's been done, well, too bad. But if you think there's more work to be done, like I do, the gates are free.